Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jared Johnson, and Texas Tech is now halfway through training camp, preparing for a season kickoff, which is September 2nd at Wyoming. It's one of the most anticipated seasons in recent memory, perhaps a decade. So there's a lot of excitement around camp. They wrapped up practice number 10 of camp on Tuesday morning, and that's halfway through camp. And then they'll have their game prep week, and then season kickoff, and away we go. We've had great access. At least 7, if not 8 of the practices we've been to. We had the local media day as well, interviewed double-digit, at least 10 players, several coaches. Like I said, been to a lot of the practices. So I have a lot of takeaways from all that access. And the number one thing I think people need to know about this team, and well, before I get to that, I want to say overall, I've said I think this team wins nine games next year, and I've seen nothing to change that. I think there's a very good chance that Texas Tech wins 9 and is in the conversation, has an opportunity to go to the Big 12 championship game, and then from there anything could happen. This is a very competitive league this year. The new teams coming in, the old teams, OU and UT, that haven't left yet, are still in it. So it's going to be interesting. You have 4 more teams, of course, coming in from the Pac-12 the next year. So it's a lot going on, but some really solid teams. I mean, whether it be Texas, who is probably overrated still, but Oklahoma looking to bounce back. Oklahoma State, same thing. Baylor, TCU, and Kansas State, who both played in the championship game. Kansas State winning the Big 12, TCU going to the national championship game. Some of these teams have lost a lot, but also they're good programs. And Baylor won the Big 12 2 years ago. So all these teams are going to be competitive with, and I think Texas Tech's going to be right in the mix. Like I said, 9 wins. So why do I think that? Well, like I said, the first thing that people need to know about this team is it's an old team in really every facet of the game. It returns 18 starters from that team that won 8 games last year, including its final 4 of the season. It's, you have a 6-year quarterback in Tyler Shuck. Offensive line they're all veterans. They've all started multiple big-time games at the Division I level. Some of them are super seniors. Defensive linemen, same thing. Tony Bradford, Jalen Hutchins, super seniors. Dadrian Taylor, even though he has another year eligibility left, I mean, he's been playing forever. Josiah Pierre, same thing. Yeah, he's been playing college football for a long time at inside linebacker. So many people on this team expected to play in the 2 deep, not just the starters, are veterans, guys that have been around a long time. Taj Brooks, I don't believe he's a senior. I think he's just a junior, but he's been playing a long time. This is at least his 3rd year playing at this level. The receiving corps, same thing. Loic Fungi, multiple years. Jerram Bradley now, I believe this is his 3rd year. He feels like one of the younger guys on the team. The inside receivers, Miles Price, been around forever, it seems like. Xavier White, same thing. He's a super senior. It's just the tight ends are all back. They're all older guys, have been playing multiple years. So this team just has so much veteran experience and depth. The cornerbacks, Malik Dunlap, Rashad Williams, returning starters, super seniors. So that's important. I've said for so many years, man, I'm tired of Tech having to reload with these young guys and throw these lambs to the slaughter, to the wolves. And that's just, they're the wolves this year. They have the veteran guys who have won. This team has won 15 games in the last 2 years, which is a lot by Texas Tech standards recently. And, they know how to win. They know what they're doing. And that leads me to my next point is this is a big team, very big. And I think the fact that these guys are older, they've filled out, they've matured a lot physically. They've had multiple years in Division I and Power 5 programs to develop, and these are the results. So this is an experienced team. This is a much deeper team than we've seen. But it's also a bigger team, and I think Joey McGuire mentioned in our live chat on Inside the Red Raiders to me, and then also in the chat with y'all the fans and the VIPs that this strength program has really taken a step this year. That they really pushed it, and the players really responded, and the numbers are amazing in terms of just how many guys are benching this or squatting that, deadlifting. It's a certain amount. It's crazy. It's a very big team and much stronger than I think we're used to seeing Texas Tech, which obviously that's a big deal in football. Deep receiving core. I think that's something that people have wondered about, and it is deep. I mean, I think Jerome Bradley is going to be one of the best in the Big 12. He has the opportunity to have a Big 12 caliber season. Alok Fungi is former 4-star guy. If he could stay healthy, I think he'll be, almost on that level right there. Jordan Brown, as somebody mentioned recently, having a great fall camp. He's somebody that Mighty Joe Yeager has mentioned many times that he really likes and thinks could be a breakout player. Maybe this is the year for him. J.J. Sparkman, one of those throw it up and go get it guys who's been in the program for years now. And then inside receiver Miles Price, I think he's made some big plays in his Tech career. Don't get me wrong, but I think the potential for him to be a breakout star, and he's going to be the primary punt returner. I think those things are there. They brought in Dre McCray from Austin Peay, who produced at a high level there. A couple of the coaches, Coach Cochran, Coach Bryant, were there at Austin Peay when he was there. So they knew what they were getting in him, and what they're getting is speed. He's going to play both inside and outside, so that helps. But he's another veteran player who's played a lot of college football. Nehemiah Martinez, we know he can make plays too, inside receiver. So I'm missing some people, I'm sure, but there are so many guys at receiver who it's not like, oh man, we think, the coaches are saying, we think he could do it, we hope he could do it. They know these guys can play at a high level. They can make big plays in big games because they've done it already. They just need to be consistent and stay healthy. But they're deep enough that they're thinking about going ahead and redshirt Brady Boyd, despite him, figuring in the picture. I mean, he could be a good player for them. So, but he'll play in 4 games, which is allowed by the NCAA now, and still be able to redshirt as long as the guys stay healthy. Relatively, they'd like to retain a year with him. So that's a good sign. So let me see what else I have jotted down here in terms of my main takeaways. Oh yeah, outside linebacker. It's not only is it talented, like you hear a lot about Steve Linton, you hear about Miles Cole at 6'6", 285 pounds, moving from defensive tackle to outside linebacker, and he can move, he can do it. It's more of an overhanging defensive end and a 2-point stance, but still, it's Tyree Wilson's position, primarily pass rushing, and then holding up in the run game as well. And Steve Linton's more the outside linebacker, playing space kind of guy at 235 pounds. But there's been a lot of talk about them in the offseason, but it's not just those guys. Bryce Ramirez has come back from that catastrophic, leg injury, his leg being broken against NC State. And, I've seen him flying around out there. He appears to be going full speed, and he went full speed in the first scrimmage. He was starting. That was his first start, was that NC State game. And he was a big-time player. Now it's 2 coaching staffs that have just gone on and on about what Bryce Ramirez means to the team. Coach Wells' staff was the same way. Coach McGuire and his staff have said that. Coach Ayu said that in a recent availability. So Bryce Ramirez coming back and being able to play, that's huge. I mean, he's a starter level guy there for depth. And he's going to play a lot, and it's just a great story. Isaac Smith at 6'6", 260 pounds, and is a freak athlete, was a track star in high school. He had a really good end of the year, younger guy. He's going to play some. I really like him. Oh, and then another younger guy, Joseph Adedire, who's playing like the defensive end position, the stand-up outside linebacker / defensive end position. They'll have their hand on the ground in a 3-point stance. Miles Cole was talking about when Tech does do that, because usually you see like Tony and Jalen as the 2 interior defensive linemen as the only guys in 3-point stances, but sometimes, and they did this with Tyree, they'll bring a third guy in. So against some of the heavier packages, go ahead and put their hand on the ground and go that way to give offenses a different look, and again to go against heavier offensive packages. But I really like this outside linebacker room. It's fun to watch him in practice under Coach Ayu, him doing his thing. Tim DeRuiter, the defensive coordinator, comes over there during their individual drills and works with them as well. He's produced some really good NFL talent the last 2 years. First round top 10 type picks in Thibodeau from Oregon 2 years ago. And then, of course, Tyree, last year went to the Raiders 7th. So be interesting to see who's next. Will it be Steve Linton? Will it be Miles Cole? Or one of these other guys I mentioned, step up and take that spot? But it's just crazy to see the level of play they have at those positions now, and then the depth, just how many guys they have. It's really impressive. All right, a couple other things I think people will be interested to hear is Tyler Owens, and I've mentioned him in some of these videos and definitely in my notebooks on Inside the Red Raiders, but I really think Owens is a guy at 6'2", 210 pounds, former 4-star recruit. He said he was timed an official 10-100. I mean, that's just really moving. And is the fastest guy on the team, according to him, of course, but also Coach McGuire mentioned that. But he plays with the physicality from his safety position. I think he's going to be a difference maker. If he could just stay healthy, that's been a problem for him. He was big in the Texas Bowl, played really well. I think, him and Deidre and Taylor back there are going to be quite the combination at safety. And I think, I really think Tyler Owens is going to make Texas Tech secondary better. I think he just has to stay healthy, and this is his final year. He's hungry. He needs to have a good year, but the dude is a freak, and I'm expecting him to have a big season. And then finally, the kicking game. I've had some people on YouTube ask me about it. I've mentioned it several times on Inside the Red Raiders, but Gino Garcia. Let me backtrack. I even asked Coach McGuire after the first scrimmage, like, what's going on with the kicking game. Gino Garcia has the lead in terms of place kicker, and he's looked really good. I haven't seen him miss, actually, in camp. I bet I've seen him kick 20 field goals. I don't think I've seen him miss, including one from 50 on Tuesday morning in a live situation, full pads, live situation, rush coming at him and all that. Austin McNamara, the punter, who, especially when he's consistent, which it's a big part of it. He's as good of a punter as there is. I mean, in the Big 12, maybe even in the country. Very talented dude, but he's going to be the holder as well as the punter. Reese Burkhart, who transferred in from UAB, is going to be the kickoff specialist. He's done a really good job at touchbacks in camp, and he also did at UAB. So that all appears to be really nice. And I think Jordan Brown's going to get a real opportunity as a kick returner with Dre McCray, the speedster transfer receiver who came in. So that's what it looks like for special teams. And I think it looks pretty good. Once again, veteran players. Gino Garcia is a senior. Reese Burkhart's been a kickoff specialist for at the Division I level for multiple seasons. You have returners and punters who've been doing it for a long time. So I feel really good about the special teams for Texas Tech this season as well. So those are my main takeaways from the first half of camp. Injuries haven't been too bad. Coy Aiken did go down, but he's expected to be back early on in the season. He said maybe Tarleton State was that game 3, or West Virginia, which I believe is the Big 12 opener. So that's good. There's been some minor dings, but I don't think there's been any major, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, major injuries yet, which is a great sign. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.